Now? It's better? Oh, wow, do I have a big microphone today? Whew. No, here. Good morning. So lovely to see you all here again, huh? Are you ready for the next day? Good. I think yesterday was so amazing. It was a lot, I know. 10 teachers and all their sharings and 40 minutes each and quite different but still the same, but we could take it all in, huh? And now we go further. And to have the spirit of our medicine, I think that's what it's about, huh? Not only all the knowledge, but really feeling the spirit in our hearts of this medicine. So before I start my talk, I think we should go into stillness again, just like many teachers were referring to yesterday. You've all been busy in clinics and families at home, and now you're here, and so let's sit good on the chairs and calm down, get into water, otherwise I'll just be too fiery myself also. Maybe we'll do 2 breathings I've learned from Lillian first, so we don't have lines here underneath the nose, right, Lillian? You can talk about that later, what that means. I think you're used to saying breathe in, and then breathe out, and keep on breathing out until you empty your lungs fully. And you breathe automatically in much more again. Let's do that again. Continue. Let's do another one. Good. Now you close your eyes, and during the time you've closed your eyes, Peter will read about stillness for us. Because I opened this book this morning, Immortal Sisters, and Peter, who's the only one who can really read in a poetry way, he will do that for me. Right, Peter?
This is from the Immortal Sisters. When stillness climaxes, it can produce movement. Yin and yang mold each other. When yang peaks, it shifts to yin. And when yin peaks, it shifts to yang. This is the natural cycle of patterned energy, and is nothing strange. Tao Te Ching, chapter 15, says, who can be murky and use the gradual clarification of stillness? Who can be at rest and use the gradual arising of movement after a long while? The first statement says that if people can be still and quiet, then the murky energy in the body will gradually change into clear energy. The second statement says that when one has been still and quiet for a long time, then movement gradually starts again. The Tao Te Ching, chapter 16, says, reaching the extreme of emptiness, keeping quiet steadily, as myriad beings act in concert, I thereby watch the return The first two lines are about the extreme of quietude. The second two are about the production of movement. The mutual moulding of yin and yang means that yin and yang are based on one another. They are interdependent and complementary and cannot be separated. Grab the jade tiger in the wind. Catch the golden bird in the moon. The wind means the breathing, as it says here and there in the alchemical texts. As for the tiger, when you see this term in alchemical texts, it usually means the same as lead or gold. It is nothing more than this primal, positive energy that moves in the human body after ultimate stillness and quietude.
Thank you, Peter. Oh, now the energy changed. This morning I went up to just listen 2 minutes to Susan's Qigong. And she was talking about the position. You can ask her later. She will know how to explain it. But about taking the shoulders down, open the hand, because we're working with energy going out through our hands. So we give a lot from our heart as healers or practitioners. But we also need to take in again. Please all remember that for you, for yourself. Otherwise, we need the 300 moxa coins. We probably do already about some of them. I think I will start with also telling a little bit about myself. I love when a teacher can say something about themselves as well, when they're standing on the stage, because it makes them human. Not only this smart person standing up here, because they need to be both. I was given Chinese medicine through my mother's death. She was on her deathbed. And I went to Catalina. She had just finished working with Hans Erik for a few years, and she opened her own clinic, and I went up to her and told her, "Can you come and treat my mother? She has cancer," she said, "here in the hotel." She actually died in this hotel. And Catalina came and treated her. So through my mother's death, I received Chinese medicine. And the night she died, I was actually smiling. Because it's been a long 4 months with her illness in the end. It was a hard fight. Before her spirit could leave, or her, whatever you would say it, or... So I was actually smiling because the cancer was a long story. Before that, There was an alcohol problem. So it's been a long journey. So I was smiling that some of the pain had left. After that, I went to Rørvig Folkehøjskole. Whatever you call that in English. But it was about Ayurvedic medicine for 4 months. That really did me well afterward. But my heart was already in Chinese medicine. Cataline gave me that. And then I went to Switzerland. When I was doing this 4 months in the school in Rørvig with Ayurvedic medicine. My boyfriend at that time, who's my husband today, he started looking out for schools, and we found Hamid's school. Hamid has been a teacher here as well. And I came home with the brochure, and I showed it to Kathleen. Do you think this is a good school? And she was looking in it, and she said, what's his name? Giovanni is teaching there, and wow, and that's the books that I'm reading. So I went to his school. And that was the beginning of Chinese medicine. And I started in February, and I remember that very much because after coming back to Switzerland, living with my husband, then a lot of crying started in my life from my mother's death. I often remember I was just crying and I didn't know why, and I told my husband, I don't know, I'm just sad, sad, sad. But of course that was all the sadness. Oh, don't cry because otherwise I'll start. All the crying from my mother's death and all this pain, and in Rørvig it was quite good being there as a young person. I was 23, I think, or something. But that time was still a good time when I look back now. Because the way I work in the clinic, I love when people are crying there. Now I should have a glass up here. I'll show you something. I need 2 glasses, one with water and one without. Thank you. I needed to ask your ear how this is properly explained, because he knows where are you if you need to help me. You're there, good. It's something Dominic Hertz says. He was also here once, and she said, this is our stomach, and that needs to fill up. It's empty, it needs to fill up with all the food we eat. And this is our heart, it needs to be empty. So it can go like this. They're in relation, heart and stomach. So no full heart that we can't tip, but an empty heart that we can have the glass like this. And that's what I love in the clinic. I have students also in the clinic who comes and learns. And one of them told me that the other one said, Marian makes all the patients cry. But Jeffrey Ewan, that fluids must run or something, or whatever you would say in English, and healing can occur. Don't we all have a lot of pains inside us? Just like the lost love lines that Lillian talks about, depending on how far they go down, sorrow lines and all this. I remember Lillian saying in the beginning, the first lines can be just losing your teddy bear. Then maybe the first boyfriend. And then whatever happens when it goes further down. And you're talking about yesterday. About from energy to matter. What's happening over here in the energy? The broken hearts and everything, and it continues into matter, and the illness comes. But we can reverse into energy again. Like Susanna was talking about, that guy with that severe illness, and it goes in here and comes back to healing. Heiner also says this so beautifully. Or William Willem standing here on the stage talking about himself also, explaining this path, coming back to healing again from an illness. So isn't that also our challenge as practitioners, healers, with all the patient stories that we hear? But we must not forget ourselves. So remember to do this journey also. Not only being there for the patients, like the qigong going out and the needles and the energy going out from the heart, but also taking it in again. So in the clinic, like Ye was saying yesterday, also Shen, Qi, and Jing, some are very much focused on the one and the other, or the body, or goes from body to spirit, or spirit to body. I like going from the spirit side. So I like sitting in the clinic and hearing the stories of the patients. Just coming in there and being so brave now to just ask them, how can I help you, instead of asking all of this how many patterns questions that you do in the beginning. And just see what happens. If they're ready in that moment to really unfold the deepest pains or fears or whatever they're carrying. I remember one patient I asked, so I can't even remember what he came with, headache or back pain, I think, probably back pain, yeah. It will suit the story. And I told her, do you have some loss, or did something happen, and she went like the last few months, or I said the last year, and I said whatever. And she went all the way back to that she was not a wanted child from her mother. So all her pain came up. That was an intense session, that first one. She really opened. But she didn't continue in the sessions. I think she only came for that one treatment. But with the support of Mike, it's been a great help for me the last year or two or something. He's saying to me all the time, don't look at the outcome. Sometimes the healing occurs in that moment in the clinic, to the crying or the pain disappears or whatever it happens, or it comes afterward, the reactions, or it's the beginning of the healing. The Danish guys, so if I can say Willem is also Danish, they were talking a lot about the ego yesterday also. Of course, I've been around that as well. I think we women also have that, don't we? Not only the guys. Huh? When it was not working in the beginning, the TCM acupuncture, was I not good enough? Was it not the golden needle, or? And I was seeing a lot of pain. I think I was 3 years into practicing. I just saw pain. I was sitting with my Swiss friends, and I almost wanted to quit Chinese medicine. There was just too much pain, and I was fighting this pain. It was not nice. It was too hard. Just like Lars was saying yesterday, treating the illnesses, and now he's treating the chi blockages instead. And then I started to hear the stories of the people. Through Lillian also, who sees a lot of stories, through your ear, watching people's eyes, the Shen, hearing the stories as well. And then I thought it was okay again. Because we are full of stories, our life stories. And then it's even better if you cry. We had a lecture in Switzerland with Jeffrey Yuan, and he says about crying. If they cry, you must preserve water. Just do a kidney point. And he didn't want to tell us which kidney point, because we would like to have the kidney point for that, so we can go home in the clinic and do that kidney point. He says, just do your favorite one on the channel. Oh, it's so easy. I like it when it comes easier and easier. And in that same session with Jeffrey, this lecture where he was on Shen, he also said that after a while you start using the same few points, or depending on how many few is. And I felt like, oh my, he's talking about me. Oh. I'm doing less and less points, and I can't remember what they're for and where they really are, and it's only the ones that I'm continue using. But in the break, everybody says they were thinking he was talking to them. My favorite point is bladder 43. I almost think I do it every day on all the patients. And that's because Hamid told us. And Hamid just did his whole transcript that we've been working with as students. Started in 2000. It's in a book now. And you can buy it here with Lars, and you have it, the flyer in your handouts, and it's all Hamid's information from France and all the years he's been teaching, and Jeffrey Ewan's stuff is inside as well, and that bladder 43 is, I looked it up as the first point when I had the book in my hand. What is it that it says? And it says, broken heart. So I always go to that point. Because I think that's part of our life stories also. And it's okay. It's not bad. Maybe it's natural. Yin and yang, pain, happiness, transformation. I even did, remembering at the beginning of the Chinese medicine school, buying a computer, and I needed to do a Swiss email address. And I did Sinbao. Bluewin. And Sinbao is the pericard, the heart protector. Now today I can sit and talk about it 15 years later. It's still my email address. The heart protector. Not the full heart, but the empty heart. So I really love in the clinic when the people can talk and they can empty their heart. Doesn't matter how they start doing it. It can be straight away to the what it hurts or a story, or today it's also okay if they start saying that they have a neck pain because the pillow is hurting them. In Rottenburg, only a few months ago, I still was not so happy with that sentence, but I think I'm getting happy with it also again. The patient, it's okay if they go from the body side into their story, or if they go straight in the story. Depending on where we are and if we feel the body, or if we can go inside straight away, or... And that pillow story that I didn't like, people coming and telling me that they had neck pain because of their pillow. And I was like, it's not because of your pillow. I asked Laka Lama, who's a Lama who lives here in Denmark. Also somebody Catalina has been enjoying for many years, and last summer I could join her for the first time, one day, to listen to him. He was so beautiful. Catalina was telling me in the beginning when he was teaching here and up here just a few kilometers away from here. He was very much Tibetan and doing ceremonies and all this. But this time he was so very human as well. He was what I could remember, what's still in my head, is that he said, I get up in the morning, early up, I take half a cup of coffee and a cigarette, I think he said. Then I go wash myself. I don't take a shower every day because I don't smell every day. And then he went to the altar and did his ceremonies. He was so sweet. And I asked him about this, can I ask you a question, when we were finished, when we just wanted to leave, and I could see I could get him out and ask him the question about, can you tell me, people are coming and saying about this neck pain due to the pillow. I hate that story because it's not the pillow that's causing the neck pain. And he told me, Marian, that's not where you should focus on. You should focus on trust and belief. Okay, and I went over to Catalina when we went away, and I told her, he said this, trust and believe. Okay, what did that mean? So I've been working on this since last summer. And I think it's came out in Rotberg already with the self-cultivation team day. It's coming out now here again. Our trust and belief in this medicine. But if Susan is right, who's been so lucky to be 14 years in China and learning from all these great masters, that we have only learned 20% of Chinese medicine through the TCM. We're missing a lot. And I think the trust and belief lies a lot in those 80%. Because we probably all have Peter Deadman's book at home for the points. But where are all the spirituality in that book? And who are the teachers who really teach this? They're here. Trust and believe in ourselves, in our medicine, in healing, that we can go from energy to matter and back to healing again. Like Gia was saying yesterday, you have a thought, then you do an action. But what came before the thought? What came before it all started rolling and it ends up in an illness? So 15 years ago, exactly, and 2 months I think now, my mother died. And I wanted to come home and have a summer here, a relaxed summer, doing a bit of congress work, staying here because of my 2 little children, some of you maybe saw yesterday, 5 and 3.5, and the next one here, and they had the chance to go to Danish kindergarten for 4 weeks. And I thought, I put them to kindergarten, I just stay here, I walk on the beach every day, could do at least just 10 minutes meditation every day. And once a week I would write on my blog. I think I've written once there. And I still didn't, there was no time for it. The congress was quite a lot. I could fall asleep putting the children to bed and wake up an hour later and okay, now I have to do this. But it's okay. But in this process of thinking that I would have 4 weeks of stillness here and getting all this out that it's inside of me. Like Mike told me last time I had a conversation with him, Marian, you should write everything that's inside you, get it out, start it. Otherwise it'll be this fountain that explodes. Because I've listened a lot to all these teachers, these 15 years of education since I started. Sometimes I even did 200 hours of further education in a year. One time I was sitting in Alex Tiberi's lecture and suddenly I remembered, I think I've been here before. I think he said that before. So I realized I'd been to that lecture already. And now cancer comes into my life again, my father. Prostate cancer. So I was busy going with him to the hospital. No 10 minutes meditation, no walking on the beach. I was a Danish housefrau, no, a Danish, housefrau. I think you know this word. So I was getting up early in the morning at 7, getting ready, making the lunch things, driving my children up there. And my daughter didn't like it. My son, he liked it a lot. I wanted to put the third day my daughter into school. She was crying in the car and I thought, I decide you go there, don't you decide it. I don't have time for it at home. And I wanted to release the thing here in the car. And she was crying. I said, come in, Zoe. And she smacked me. Pew! Okay. Okay, she don't want to stay in the school. And I let her in the car and I went into the people working in the kindergarten. And I said, okay, you're the smart heads in here. My daughter's in the car and she smacked me and don't want to go into the school. She's crying. What can I do? And the woman just looked at me and she says, I've never seen such a stubborn girl who don't even want to get out of the car. Okay, so I couldn't bring her, so I took her home again. And I'm telling this story because I think we have all these stories also in our lives, also being practitioners, healers, mothers, husbands, taking care of a life next to being there for other people as well. Illnesses in our family, maybe ourselves, maybe our dearests. So please take care of yourself as well. Yeah, Yair also said yesterday, do go to acupuncture also. Into your hearts, cry. Oh, now it's time to hear Mike.